If you want to make packaging that tells a story and sells itself, then watch this video because I'm going to show you my packaging design process on creating a fresh vintage raw honey brand. And thanks to Pactora for sponsoring this video. Now, I found this honey sitting around. I usually have it for some tea, and we just love having some nice raw honey that's just great, better than getting sugar because sugar's not good for you. But anyway, I wanted to redesign. I took a look at what was out there already at our local supermarket, found a lot of different types of packaging, but for me, I just studied the competitors, and that's the first thing I do is look at what's already out there, take pictures at the shop, or just go on the website and just look around. Once I've got a grasp of who the competitors are of the other brands, I start to do some research. For me, you know what it is, it's always Dribble, Behance, Pinterest. That's most of the websites I look at when I'm looking at packaging or design. Then what I do is I created this mood board, and it was super cool to just lay out some images, took some screenshots, and I was gonna go for something that was rustic and felt nice but not too rustic. And I wanted to go for this, you know, flowery feel, like of the Australian bush, you know, think of like wild flowers and stuff like that. So I was looking at some different patterns and illustrations and started to see on what type of font as well. Checked on Envato for some fonts. And then I go into the sketching phase once I've done the research phase, and I typically draw out the main size of the packaging. Usually it's like a square, or if it's like a weird shape, I just sketch it out, start drawing some ideas, laying out the typography and stuff. Went on Font Fabric, looked around for maybe some script fonts, also some serif fonts as well. Process, I love getting inspiration from Midjourney, so AI is amazing. Typed in some like honey jar packaging, you know, minimal Australian bush honey, stuff like that. Now, thanks to Pactora, I'm using them as my main packaging provider. They have over 2,900 templates and die lines, so they can give me the die line and I can use it to print off any type of packaging. They also have got a 3D mockup tool that allows you to put your design on any mockup that you want, and it makes it look so much realistic. And then I can use it in a client presentation and it will sell itself because it just looks so real. And I love the quality on Pactora. So when I set up a document, I open up Illustrator, I rename my file. I also change the diameters to the exact dimensions of either the die line or the mockup that they've given me on Pactora. Then I change the color mode to CMYK and put the DPI onto 300 so you get high quality. Sometimes I'll use RGB just so I can work with bright colors and then change CMYK later on. And there we have it. We've got our template, and then I just added a few lines based on that mockup that I'm using for the hexagonal type of the design. And then for the second package is the outer box. Click the download of the die line, and this is going to be the exact die line for the package design. Typically, you might have your client will have a printer. They might have a die line already, but if you don't, you could use this. Once I've got my die line and my layout, what the next step is I look at the text hierarchy. So I want to drop the text into Illustrator. I've already written out like what my title is, my sublines, the benefits, and any other little details that I need, like the nutritional information, the grams or the weight, any other details that need to be on the jar, on the packaging. And I just put that in, and then I start to play around, add this little illustration of this bee that I thought was kind of cool. Adds a bit more of a playful feel and not too serious. I wanted to go premium but not too premium, so I still wanted to have that fun vibe to it, and I wanted to do something different because not many people are doing like this illustration. So I created this illustration pattern with Midjourney with AI, and I love this like bluish goldy color. I think it's elegant, it's nice. And I started to lay on over this it's just square shape just to nest everything inside of that, and just laid out the illustration all on the back of that label. What I started doing is playing around with the font that I found. I found this cool font. I believe it was called Rustic. It's got like this sort of brush script type of vibe, and it's textured, and I thought that was really nice. And then I started, you know, using that text, customizing everything, playing around with the, you know, sheer, playing around with the sizes, seeing how it fits all within that little square. And you can see I also have those red lines just to use as the guidelines, so I know when I put it on the packaging, it's all set to go. Now I've just started to add some little details, you know, the flavor of the honey. I'm gonna start to add some benefits as well with some little icons. It just adds more visual interest and appeal, makes it stand out. So you can see this is the process of just designing, trial and error, playing around. Started to use the hexagon shape as well. It's very cliche, like a lot of bee designs always have like the hex, because the honeycomb, it connects with nature, and it's a safe option really. Now I started to play around with adding some benefits. I added like these gold icons and customized the color and the stroke, and I just got those icons online. I like going on like something like flat icon. Sometimes I just go on Google, but you got something like Noun Project flat icon, Smash icons are great. Futuro icon pack is good. There's so many icons out there, or you can just make your own really. Obviously you want to always try and make your own, but it does take a lot of time to do that. I did take the illustration because I was lacking some stuff to chuck on the front of the package and I didn't have too much time. I just decided to make a little vector textured version of the illustration of the flowers in the bush, and I just put it on top on the front there. When you work with the client, they should have everything. And you can see I started laying out on the actual mockup on Pactora, and it's easy to upload. Just upload the JPEG, and because you already have the exact template, it's easy just to drop everything in. So once I started dropping everything in, the final touches to the actual packaging to make the mockup and also the final die line, you can see me adding all the designs there, lining everything up, just making sure everything's readable, legible, and fits within the dimensions. And it really turned out really cool. You can see I'm just scaling up here in the mockup. You can change the inner color of it as well. And I love this feature. You can open and close the view of the actual box so you can see how it looks on the interior and exterior, which is a super cool feature. I think that's really awesome. You can also change the materials and stuff, but I decided to play around with creating a scene, and Pactora allows you to download like an MP4, like a video animation, and it also allows you to customize the backgrounds. You can change the scenes as well. You can see me on the left, you got a whole menu full of different scenes, and then you can customize it with different gradients, different colors. You can add plants and shapes and blocks and different elements. And I was trying it out. I actually really liked it. It was actually really easy to use. Drop to my texture, and then you can see sort of what I was working with and created sort of a little mock-up that I can put in a presentation. And I know clients love that. So here's the final result. And I think it turned out great. If you do want to see a video on how to create mood boards and how I did it just like in this video, then you can click on the screen and watch that. Thanks so much.